you're watching TDM Talk Show. I'm your host, Karen Keith. Our guest for tonight is an extraordinary woman with a very beautiful story. Originally from Hong Kong, she flew half across the world and became a household name in Congo, Africa, where there she gave hundreds of people a new hope, new vision, and renewed life. Let's all welcome the recipient of 2017 Women of Hope Award, Dr. Joyce Samoutou-Wong. Good evening, Dr. Joyce. How are you doing?
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, first of all, let's talk about the award. What is it all about?
Actually, the award was given by Adventist Hospital, which celebrates so many women all across the world who have done something, whatever it is, to contribute to our world. So it's a great honor for me to have been given this award. But honestly, truth be told, it really does not belong to me, but it stands for so many unsung heroes who have supported our charity New Sight through the years.
Mm-hmm. And you're the co-founder of New Sight.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about New Sight?
Yes.
What is it all about?
Yeah, sure. So my husband and I are the co-founders of New Sight, a charity registered in Hong Kong and the UK. I'm not sure whether or not you are aware, but according to the World Health Organization, 4 in 5 people who are blind or visually impaired in this world are suffering needlessly. We say they're suffering needlessly because we can actually do something really simple to either prevent or treat their causes of blindness. So we've went to the Republic of Congo in 2012 because we know that that country has a desperate need for non-profit eye services. And when someone can see again, their lives are completely transformed, not just for the patients, but also for the family and even the whole community. In fact, also according to the WHO, restoring sight is the single most cost-effective health intervention to relieve poverty. So we consider it a great privilege that we got to move there with our family to start an eye center. And with that, we also train nurses in the local community so that they can become sustainable. And in the last 6 years, starting from zero base, we're so proud and privileged to say that that center can now run on its own. And so in 2016, the government, noticing what we've done in the first eye center, invited us to a new location called Wesso, which is much more strategically located, that has the possibility to help the entire country of Congo and even the neighboring countries. So we're right now continuing our work in the first eye center, but gearing up and fundraising for this bigger eye hospital that we believe will be a training and community hub that will really benefit and change lives in the middle of a jungle.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how it started? I understand that you studied in the UK,
Yes.
and then you went to Africa.
Yes.
And then you found love.
Yes, that is the order, but I would say the reasoning isn't quite like that. I actually always had a dream since I was about 2 years old for Africa. I can't tell you why, because I'm not really into National Geographic or any nature kind of thing, but I just had this thing in my heart. So I went to study medicine thinking that medicine would be a useful tool in Africa. And then when I was in my 5th year, I thought, okay, it's now or never. I'm going to test my calling and see whether or not Africa really was for me. So I had 4 months of electives where I could go anywhere in the world. So I picked up my big rucksack full of dreams and medical supplies and landed in this little country called Gabon, which is 80% rainforest. And my good plan was to spend 2 months there and then 2 months back in Hong Kong to find a nice Chinese boy.
A nice Chinese boy.
Yes, that was the aim. And but life always throws you a curveball, I think. And so I arrived in this missionary hospital, literally in the middle of a jungle, and it was the most amazing place I've ever been, because it's just incredible that out of nowhere, that these missionaries from America managed to build this hospital from a little dispensary, and now literally helps hundreds and thousands of people every year. And I was so mesmerized by what they did. I thought these people only existed in books, but I saw the way they work, and they're such to me, they were superheroes because they were super kind, super patient, super gracious, super tough, super strong. Nothing ever phases them. They're super patient. You know, whatever happens, they're just there to serve. And so purely, wholeheartedly, passionately against all odds. And they gave their all. And I was just blown away by them and what they did. And at the same time, I was miserable because I thought, well, then there goes my African dream because I'm really quite a spoiled brat. I'm an only child, and I thought I could never be like them.
And this is the time of the Bosnian conflict, the genocide in Rwanda, right?
It was slightly after. I'm older than that, so
Okay.
it was slightly after. So the Bosnian conflict and the Rwanda's genocide was more before my university days, where I was able to go to a United World College where 360 students from 80 countries were together, and meeting the people, they stopped being just people on the news and in the telly, and they became my friends. So my worldview was very much shaped by that.
How was the transition from being a spoiled brat, Hong Konger, flying to Africa? How was the transition? What was your initial expectation?
I think I was pretty clueless, but I just knew. I remember meeting someone who told me, oh, she was a nurse, and she said, when I was young, I wanted to do something like what you're about to do. But she didn't in the end. And every time I meet someone like that, I just thought, well, why didn't you? So I just went and I saw, and I think at the end of the day, nothing truly worthwhile in life does not, well, at the end of the day, everything worthwhile in life has a cost. And to me, is my biggest honor in life that even ordinary, ridiculous me who really is so spoiled and incapable that I can somehow actually make a tangible difference that is lasting and complete in someone's life. I think it's just the most amazing thing.
Did you have a hard time adjusting?
I still have a hard time adjusting.
You still have a hard time adjusting up to now?
I'm sure some people will adapt better than me, but I'm not the most adaptable or flexible person. I'm pretty high maintenance. So I still struggle with it. But when you see the needs and you see that we can actually, there's so much we can do, those things just fade into insignificance. And the joy that we get to do it, all of those things, it gives you this super power that you didn't think you could, but in the end you do, because you see the joy before you, and it just changes everything. It changes your worldview. I think probably what was more important to me, I realized that in the grand scheme of things, they really don't matter that much. And the community that we serve, they're amazing. They're such resilient people, and it's hard.
Yes, tell us about your husband. How did you meet him?
Oh.
If there's a thing called love in the time of cholera, there's love in Africa.
Yeah, so it was just very circumstantial that I got to meet him in this same hospital where I went as a medical student. And the only thing I remember, because when I first met him, he didn't speak any English at all, and my French
He
was...
speaks French, right?
Yes, and Vungo, which is a language that's about to go extinct. But I didn't really speak very much French. But I remember going home that day after meeting him and writing to a very good friend in Canada and saying, oh, I think I've met the most beautiful reflection of Jesus Christ. And I didn't think anything romantic at all about him. But that evening, I woke up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had tears down my face, and I thought, that's the man I'm gonna marry. And then my first thought was, I must have cerebral malaria, and I must have gone crazy because I knew nothing about him. And I didn't even know he was married or anything like that. Right. And then my second thought was, my parents are absolutely going to kill me. And then
because of the difference in
culture. We're just from completely different worlds, and they wouldn't even be able to communicate. And then the third thing that I thought was like, oh wait, what if he's already married? Like, I really didn't know anything about him.
So you just knew it.
I just knew
right
it.
there.
Right there.
Wow.
And then subsequently, we only had 2 weeks together in the jungle, and then back then there was no emails or phone signals So we had to write, you know what, letters.
The snail mail.
The snail mail.
You did a snail
yes,
mail.
which often didn't arrive, but we did that for 4 years, and then after that we were married.
Oh, after how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
With 3 beautiful children.
Now we have 3 beautiful children. I hope you get to meet my husband one day. He's
Yes.
amazing.
I'd be so
Really.
excited to meet him. But anyway, after that, you guys moved to the UK.
Yes.
And how many years did you guys stay there with the kids?
We were there for 2 years, and then we had our first child, and then we actually moved back to Gabon, where we met in that amazing missionary hospital
Right.
that I thought I could never survive. But we did, and the 3 of us, we actually developed another nonprofit eye center there that has that was initially relying on an international NGO, but after 2 years it became self-sustainable, and we're so proud of the people we train because they're doing an even better job than we ever did, and they still see about 6,000 patients a year.
What made you decide to move back to Africa? Because it's a very comfortable life in the UK. I mean, it was a risk, definitely.
Yeah, I think for both my husband and I, we don't want to just exist. We feel that we've been blessed with a lot. My husband has the most amazing story. You need to interview him. He has, he grew up, his name, Samoutou, means no hope. He was He was named No Hope.
Samoutou.
Means, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so but he really is against all odds how people, but it's always someone who got behind us and believed in us and put him through school, put him through eye surgery training. And so now we feel that we have something to give. And so if you come to our clinic and you see what we do, you'll be there. And that it really is what it's all about. And because, like I said to you, I'm not very strong, and people are like, oh, have you ever thought about giving up? And I'm like, what? Every single day I think about giving up. But then I remember the patients, and at 9:30 in the morning we go and we remove the iPads after the surgery. So they would do surgery the day before. We removed the iPad the next day. And when they remove the iPad and they start seeing again for the first time, it's just the most amazing thing. Sometimes it's humorous, sometimes it's touching, and then you see the family, and then a few weeks later you see them as like a complete makeover. Their whole lives transform. They can go back to work, they can go back to school. The person who was looking after them because they were dependent on family can now go to the plantations, and their faces, they're just different, they're full of hope, and their whole lives transform. And so for us, it really, I always tell our kids, it's not that we have to do it, but that we get to do it. I think it's, yeah.
So how did the people from Hong Kong contribute to the startup project?
Yeah, so we were in the UK at the time, and we're really not particularly smart, and we just realized, oh, well, if we need to find more funding this time, we just need to set up a charity. So we never set out to set up any organizations or anything, but based on need, then we do one thing, and we just do one thing at a time. We set up that organization, and our first budget then was $100,000 which to us was a huge amount then. 3 months before we were to leave with our then 3 children, we had only raised 5% of the funds.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't know what to do. But this lady in Hong Kong, she bought me an air ticket from the UK to come back to Hong Kong. And she said, you need to come home and fundraise. And I came home, and at first there was like 2 engagement to share with like 5-6 people.
Right.
But then in the end, within 1 week, I spoke 35 times.
Wow.
Because people were just interested. People
Curious.
wanted to. I think people in Hong Kong might be like seem to be a very materialistic society, but people have huge hearts. And I'm always blown away by people's generosity, be it with their time or money or resources. People just do what they do, every person. And I can be here all day just telling you how there are moms who have young children, they work all day, but in the evening they might be contributing through graphic design, or they might just be helping us connect with somebody else, or to little children who give up their birthday presents and ask people to donate to our charity. This really is only possible because there's a whole community of people who are rooting for us. So
Reaching out.
We're just on the surface, and yeah.
Okay, what were the challenges that you've met when you were still starting new site?
Well, I think the challenges are still there, but we've certainly learned and grown a lot. I think there's two sides to it. The first side of it is organizationally, and the other side is personally, in terms of challenges. So organizational challenges, where we serve is really remote, as in there are no roads
Right.
to that
And
area.
it takes time to reach
Yes.
your center.
Yes.
I've read the
Yeah.
patients.
Yeah, for weeks.
Yes.
Yes. So
It
you
took
either
weeks.
take a plane, but a lot of times they get cancelled, or it's like 3 weeks along a river.
Right.
So it's really difficult. So logistically, it's very challenging. You know, we have to put in electricity, and you know, often there's water supply problems and all those kind of things. So logistically, it takes a lot of effort, and I think with time, we've come to realize that us as a society, we all take comfort in projects that are, the faster the results,
Yes.
the more value for money, the bigger the numbers, we all feel better, like it's more worthwhile to do that project. But for a project like this, it is going to take more money, time, effort, and setbacks
Yes,
to help
setbacks.
one person. But to me, as a doctor, this is precisely the reason why we have to go, because this community is getting left behind. And so while we strive for efficiency, of course I want all those, because that means I help more people. To me, equity to the essence of healthcare is equally important. And so it is for their heart that we go there. So whatever the challenges, we go there. But the challenge with that part of the logistic is because it takes long, it's harder to get any results.
Yes.
It's also harder to find funding. So funding is always a challenge, and we're still actively seeking the funds so that we can really realize this vision of building this hospital. So we're still lacking about 18 million Hong Kong dollars, but we have raised a whopping 37 million Hong Kong dollars, and that's just a community of people doing that.
Right.
From a personal point of view, in terms of challenges, to me, it's my impossible heart, because my children and my husband, they are actually really adaptable. They're really strong. And
Yeah, I'm wondering how the children
Yeah.
managed to handle everything. They were homeschooled.
Yeah.
It's very tough as a child to
Yeah.
do that.
I think it's because that's the way they grew up, and I think that's what the limitations that we set ourselves, because I would tell them the snakes are wonderful creations, and I would pretend not to be scared in front of them. So they're
But
not
were you scared?
Of course I was scared. I'm still scared.
Exactly.
Yes, but they are really calm, and they are very, whereas I'm like, the moment something goes wrong, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable, we gotta sort this out. Whereas they've just learned to take it in their stride, and it's amazing how they're equally comfortable with people who are very wealthy and people who really have nothing. But I think one thing that I would say about our children is they have seen the needs of this world, and so their worldview is very different from the one that I grew up with. And because of that, they actually do want to learn, and they work very hard in school because they want to make themselves more capable so that they can help more people in the future. And we involve them in everything that we do. So for example, our brochures, they use it for homeschooling, and then it's proofreading. Then they know that's why they have to learn English and
Right.
different things. So I think when children see meaning in why they have to learn, it changes everything. Just like for all of us humans, I think when we see value in what we do, it changes the way we live and the purpose that we have. Changes.
What was the response of the local community there? So was the government?
Yes. So we've been really privileged and thankful for the partnership with the government. For us, we never do anything without the support of the local community, because they have to take ownership from the beginning, because this is their project.
Yes.
We don't want to be there I have even if I'm dead till I'm 90, I will die one day. I need to be able to give them something that they can learn themselves. So the local community is very supportive, from the government level to the medical community, and even to the community leaders. They're all extremely supportive of our project.
And you were talking about this new facility in Uweso.
Yes.
It's near the city center, right?
Yes, yes.
So is that different from the 6-hectare property that you guys purchased, or is it?
This
it's
is the same one.
It's the same.
Yes. So
but
we
you
have,
still need
yes,
funding.
Yes. So we have one nonprofit eye center that is already sustainable, that we've basically handed over to the local community because the nurses we trained, they're doing so well. Now we have bought this 6-hectare piece of land to develop to us not just an eye hospital, but as a community hub which can grow. And so that 6-hectare land is in West Seoul, which is a very strategic location that can reach the whole country and even the neighboring countries. So the land is there, the architectural plans is there. We
Manpower.
are almost there. And we even have people who have now taken on the vision, who are willing to not just serve in Hong Kong or anywhere else in the world or England, but they're actually coming with us to Congo. So we have a team ready and waiting. So I would love to be able to just get that last bit of 18 million Hong Kong dollars so that I can go back to being a doctor. I love talking to people like you, but my heart, I cannot tell you how desperate we are to focus our attention to doing what the community needs us to do. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure people will be asking us, how can we help?
Oh, that is a great question. I think the first thing to know is everybody can help. No matter how old you are, no matter how little you think you have. I can guarantee you, if you come to me and say, I don't have anything to give, I will tell you what you can give. Because we all have something to give.
Right.
Be it time, resources, or finances, or even connections. So there's such a variety of things to do, but the first thing I would say is thank you for even thinking about it, because if you're already thinking about it, I think that's the first step when we want to care and we find out about something. I've really waffled on.
Also the volunteers,
yes.
For those who want to volunteer, for example, the doctors.
Yes.
As well. You know, it's not impossible in Hong Kong or...
Okay, I'm going to tell you how you can help.
Okay. We're listening.
Everybody can help, be it from time, resources, connections, finances. So easiest way is to donate. You can go on our website, www.newsitecongo.com. Or you can follow us on Facebook and use the gift of connection. So we're at New Site Congo, and you can share about us, tell your friends about us. Or if you want to do more, get in touch and find out how you can volunteer. We have short-term volunteers, but we're also looking for people to come. Like, we need a teacher for our children so that I can concentrate on being a doctor. We need a site supervisor, like an architect, to help us supervise the project.
Right.
Site quantity surveyors, the list just goes on and on. So get in touch, and I can guarantee you I will harass you and use you.
Harass you. Okay, and then I heard there's something going on October 11th.
Yes, it's
Macau will have
exciting.
the opportunity to help. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, so Macau Conrad is hosting a pink charity lunch on Thursday, October the 11th, to support Cancer Charitable Fund Foundation. And so it's my great privilege to be here to be able to do what I can. So I don't have a lot of finances to give to the Cancer Foundation, but I'm here to speak, and it's going to be a wonderful event. So all the information you can find on Macau Conrad website. And I get very excited when people take time from their busy schedules just to think about the needs of the world.
Right. So we'll be seeing more of you this week until next week, right?
I hope so, yes.
And you will be the guest speaker.
Yes, I will be sharing some more thoughts.
Okay, quick question. How do you see yourself in, say, 10 years?
I'm hoping to spend the rest of my life in Africa, because I know the needs will go on. I'm very much wanting to do what we've been doing with the other 2 centers to empower communities so that they can take over our work, and then go start something else. But I've also come to realize that there are a lot of people like me when I was younger who want to do something. And
who loves Africa? Who wants to be in Africa?
I think there's a lot of people who want to make a difference but hesitate because of fears of what it's going to be like, or maybe self-doubts, which I have in abundance. But I would like to be able to share my experience so that people can learn from my mistakes, learn from my weaknesses, and for everyone to see that no matter how small you feel, no matter how messed up you feel, or stupid you feel, we can do so much together, and it's just the most exciting thing.
So what motivates you Who inspires you? What inspires you?
Oh, I'm a Christian, so I would say to me, God is the most important person and my raison d'être for everything behind that I do. I know inside of me, I'm not really a very loving person.
You're not a very loving
No,
person.
no, seriously, you should
But a lot
know.
of people really love you.
Oh, I'm not like I'm scared. I don't like things that are uncomfortable. But I've experienced the love of God, and I want people to know that there is love out there. So that to me is one big inspiration. And the other one really is the supporters. I mean, they are amazing. And so many of them, you won't know their names. But I just even want to cry just welling up thinking about them because they've sacrificed and they don't tell you. They might not be necessarily very wealthy or really have any luxury in time, but what they give of themselves and they give
Yes.
wholeheartedly.
And that's the best
yeah.
thing.
Yes.
I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's the advice, the best piece of advice that you could give to all the women out there, to all the younger people out there, not just women?
Yeah.
Let's include men. To all the younger generations out there.
Yeah. We've recently started a new project called Two Front Teeth. You can go on our website to find out, newsightcongo.com/twofrontteeth. And basically it's all about helping, creating a culture where people see. So SEE for see. So S is to see the needs of the world.
Right.
I would encourage everyone to actually take time above from our to-do list and our iPads and all that to lift up our eyes and just see. And then because if we don't see, then our hearts won't be touched. And if our hearts are not touched, we will just carry on doing what we do. But when our hearts are touched, our lives are changed. So the first thing is to see the needs of the world and to see that we can do something.
Right.
The second one is to exercise what is already in our hands. You and I all have something we can already do now.
Yes.
And the final thing is E for equip, to equip ourselves to make an even bigger difference. So I always encourage the next generation. They are smarter than any pre-existing generations. They are more resourceful than any other ones. The future is completely in their hands, and I would do everything I can to see that they know that they need to learn and equip themselves either by resilience or just tasks and skills, do well in school so that they can find the solutions to help so many people who are in such desperate needs.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving
Thank you
us
for your time.
the opportunity to share your beautiful, beautiful story. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
So
and
we'll
you
be
too.
hearing more from you on October 11th.
Yes, October 11th. Hope to see
Conrad
you there.
Macau.
Conrad Macau.
You're definitely an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you very much.
Join us again for our next episode of TDM Talk Show. I'm Karen Keith.